CSA is notorious for having a lot of little details to keep track of. In this video, we will walk you through some of the administrative work required of CSA farms, explain how farmers are getting it done while still finding plenty of time to farm, share a few tools and software programs that might help, and ask you whether or not you are interested in figuring out or creating systems to manage this administrative work. We're not going to spend much time on the admin work that is part of pretty much any business. Things like insurance, licensing, facilities work, record keeping, bookkeeping, budgeting, and HR. These are all obviously going to be an important aspect of any business you start, but for the purposes of this video, we want to focus on the elements of admin unique to a CSA-style operation. As far as farming goes, CSA is a fairly complex business model to take on. It has a lot of moving parts and many small details to manage. You need to manage customer payments and at times payment plans. There are site lists to make each week and deliveries to manage, alongside vacation rescheduling, possible add-on shares, and depending on your CSA style, also customization. You don't have to be comfortable with technology to make this all work, but it is helpful, so an ability and willingness to learn new technologies is an important element in your CSA's overall success. Basically, you can break CSA administrative work into two main categories: pre-season work and in-season work. The more work that can be done, managed or set into place prior to the season, the better. Putting a lot of administrative work in early can really open up more space during the growing season. However, with CSA, there will always be certain tasks that have to be managed during the growing season. So let's look at what you have to do before the season begins. First and foremost, farmers need to have some sort of sign-up form and a way to collect them. Prior to the sign-up process, they have to think through payment and figure out if folks will submit payment with sign-up or get invoiced later, and whether or not they will accept various types of payment methods or payment plans. There is a huge degree of variety across CSAs nationally, and a lot of farmers still only accept checks, though there is a movement towards being more accommodating to credit card purchases. Every farm does this a bit differently. Some farms still use paper forms, and others have opted for software programs like Harvey or Farmigo. My farm uses an online store to list our CSA products, where people can pay online and I receive their payment via email and their sign-up form via email. I was willing to sacrifice the 4% credit card processing fee for quicker payment and less required follow-up. Depending on how large the CSA membership gets, processes that seem simple can get clunky, so farmers have to think thoughtfully about how they will receive the information, how they will record the information, and how they will ensure all payment is tracked. Processes will no doubt need to evolve over time. Another thing you will have to put together pretty early in the sign-up process is the location and style of CSA pickup. If you plan to just have pickup on farm, there won't be much to figure out, but if you are delivering, it's essential you nail down which neighborhoods and possibly even what exact locations you will have CSA delivery at. People will want to know where they are picking up their CSA during the sign-up process. The pickup and delivery details you need to include are what style of delivery you will have, when boxes will be available for pickup, and how late can members pick them up, what supplies your site will need and how they will get there, who will man the site if anyone, or at the very least check up on it at the end of the pickup period, and how you will accommodate site changes. The rest of the details can be sorted out a bit later in the spring, but will still need to be decided and arranged at least a month before the first CSA delivery, so that they can be well communicated to your members. Once you know your locations, you can start working through delivery. Who will deliver it, in what vehicle, how much can fit in that vehicle, how will you keep things cool, and other considerations. If you are working with an employee or outsourcing, you'll need to create lists early and have plenty of time to train them on your processes before the CSA begins. As you get closer to the first CSA delivery, you will need to build your delivery list so you know how many boxes are going to each drop site and on each delivery day. If you have a simple CSA, the same people get the same box size every week. This shouldn't be too complex. If you have a more complicated CSA with different elements of choice, for example, different size shares, different delivery frequency, different add-on items, or online store purchases, this will take a bit longer and have more room for error. Good advice for any beginning CSA farmer is to start simple and build from there. That will help make this step easier. Depending on how you set up your CSA, you might be able to build these lists prior to the start of the season and just work with that all year. With a more complex CSA, you may need to dedicate time each week to create these lists. Lauren of Raleigh's Hillside Farm has a complex CSA with 2 sizes of shares and 4 delivery frequencies, alongside a dozen add-on share offerings. It takes her 4 to 5 hours per week to build her CSA list. Moving into the CSA season, there is still some degree of admin work involved. Luckily, it's quite a bit less. Once drop sites, delivery, and site lists are flowing, much of the customer side of things will be done and just needs occasional support. You will need to respond to members' requests to change sites or skip deliveries, and have a system to make sure these changes happen. Most farms now offer vacation rescheduling. You may also have to upgrade payment information or send payment reminders. Depending on your setup, you may need to run email lists weekly or manage online store orders. It's a short list of tasks, but depending on the complexity of your model and the number of members you will have, there will definitely be some degree of admin each week of the CSA season. Like I mentioned earlier, we aren't going to talk too much about record keeping and harvest logs, as those are priorities for any farm business. But there is one type of record keeping unique to CSA, and that is tracking the contents and ideally also the value of your CSA box as the season goes on. You will want to know the amount of produce you are giving to members and what that produce is worth, so you can know if you are on target to meet your goals for what you had planned to give this season. There will also be weeks where you don't have enough for everyone, so you may want to track which items went to which drop sites so you can rotate product through everyone fairly. This isn't a big burden, but it is a piece of logistics important for CSA farms.
Hi, I'm Katie Bishop with Prairie Earth Farm, and together with my husband Hans, we farm 55 acres of organic vegetables located in central Illinois. We have a farmer's market stand. We also sell wholesale, but a large amount of our business is with our 300-member CSA in the summer, and we have 200 members in the winter. When we first started doing a CSA, I kept track of all of my customer contact information on an Excel spreadsheet. I tracked all the payments by hand, and I sent out emails using MailChimp or just my regular Yahoo email address. This became very difficult as we started to scale up and take on a lot more CSA members. And in addition to that, there were times where I would forget to track payments, and customers would be really upset when I would reach out asking for it after they already sent me a check and I already cashed it. So we went with Farmigo. In addition to the administrative benefits of having this type of a CSA management software, Farmigo also offered an online store where our customers could choose what they wanted, which fit perfect with our CSA choice plan that we implemented. Now I'm able to send out all my emails through Farmigo. They have templates that allow me to customize messages, auto response messages, and it helps my part of my job run much smoother.
I'm Curtis Millsap from Millsap Farm, and we've been here outside of Springfield, Missouri for 13 years. We have 20 acres, but on that 20 acres, we grow really about 2 acres of vegetables. And so our CSA originally was 25 members. This year, we kind of broke records and we had about 260 members. So our CSA, being the bulk of our business, is something that we've put a lot of time and energy into. Initially, we were doing paper signups, and it worked. At 25 members, that was fine. Once we grew above about 50, that got complicated to know who'd paid what. And then the sign-up process got a little more onerous too, if you got that many people sending you pieces of paper. And I don't know, my desk keeping is not the best, so things would get lost. Fairly early on, we signed up with Small Farm Central, and that was kind of life-changing for us as far as our ability to grow the CSA. It's basically a database, but it allows online sign-ups. It keeps track of payments. You can send out payment requests. So there was all that sort of utility, and it was a really, really useful tool for us. Then we switched to its successor, which is Harvey. The big change for Harvey is now people can choose what goes into their shares. And so that means that they have the ability to rate their vegetables. For example, if somebody hates beets, they'll rate that a 1. They'll never see beets in their box. If they love beets, they'll rate it a 5. And then every time we have beets, they're going to get those. And that, to me, is the gold standard of customer service, is getting the customer what they want, when they want it. And I think that our membership numbers have reflected that over the last several years. And nowadays, I'm responding out of 250 members, I'm probably responding to 1 to 2 emails a day. And Harvey is taking care of maybe 6 to 10 emails a day. It's taken a lot of the admin work off of my desk and put it on their desk. And that's, to my mind, as much as anything, that's what I pay them to do. The downside is definitely the cost. Harvey it's 3% for credit cards and then 7% to Harvey. So it's basically a 10% hit on your overall income. But what I like to think of it is it's like I've hired an administrative assistant who handles all that. And when I look at it that way, I think, $10,000 isn't that much to pay someone to take care of all the things that they take care of. And frankly, they do something that I would never be able to do, which is that share sorting. I don't think that would be practical to hire somebody to do that. I think it'd be a nightmare. It's allowed us to grow our membership while really holding steady or even shrinking our desk time. And that allows me to grow more carrots, which is what I really love to do. That's the advantage to us.
As long as you are willing to figure out this piece of the equation and give it the energy it deserves, CSA can work for you. So if you aren't admin inclined or good at managing a lot of little details, don't feel like CSA is something you have to avoid. It's really helpful if you have a mind for systems or enjoy some amount of computer work. But at the end of the day, this part of CSA can easily be mediated with an investment or a little creativity.